sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But remember, the big breaking news is the Phase 3 of the Jersey Takeover, and that is July 3rd. July 3rd. The Reaver of Common Sense will be moving to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be Monday through Friday. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to miss the daytime. I'm going to miss you guys. But it's the way the cookie crumbles. Hopefully everybody had a safe, great Memorial Day. Kind of nice and easy. See, I wasn't here Friday. Friday, because it was my daughter's last day of school. And then Saturday morning, we all had to get up so early, like 3:30 in the morning. In other words, I didn't go to sleep because I'm going to sleep about 3:30. Took my wife and my lovely daughter to the airport. They flew to the Poconos and spent time with my wife's parents. And yesterday, my big plans for Memorial Day was going to pick up my wife and daughter from the airport. Otherwise, it was just me, a bag of sunflower seeds, and the TV. That's it. That was my great weekend. It was actually enjoyable, except for my wife and kids weren't here, but hey, you know. So, this I want to... This... Bratwurst. I want to give the right credit out. On Reaver.one, the top article, it is a list of Rachel Maddow's shows. The Rachel Maddow Show. A list of her advertisers and full contact information. She's been running around pushing propaganda and conspiracy theories without any repercussions. I know right now, several Sean Hannity shows advertisers are running scared. Not because of this ban that the Media Matters, I think it is, that George Soros, Hillary Clinton group tried putting pressure, but now people are fighting back against it, and they're scared they're going to lose money if they start canceling. But also, it comes out, and I got this list, first off of the Sean Hannity Show's page, but it was coming from a new group, and they're called Media Equality Project. They were put together by a couple radio hosts that are tired of basically the bullshit that's going on. So, I mean, Rachel Maddow advertisers range from AARP, Apple, BP, Cialis, Cisco Systems, FreeCreditReport.com, Jeep, Progressive Insurance, Residence Inn, which is Marriott, and Kraft. Now, what I'm asking everybody to do, if you want to, we have a direct assault on freedom of speech. Let them know nicely, no threats, no vulgarity. Let them know that this woman, Rachel Maddow, is part of a group that is trying to stop free speech. She's pushing conspiracies and just plain out propaganda. She's pushing lies repeatedly. We have proven it, and we'll talk about that more later. How time after time, every politician that is asked, there is no proof of collusion. No proof at all. So, what I would like everybody to do, go to Reaver.one, click on the Rachel Maddow Show advertiser and contact list. You can create one email, one little blurb, and just copy and paste it to email to each one of these companies. And let them know that you won't be dealing with any of their companies if they continue to finance the propaganda of the left, the anti-American propaganda that has come out of the Rachel Maddow Show, the conspiracy theories, the lies, the propaganda. You know what? She sounds more like the propaganda that Russia would push on a misinformation campaign. And we're going to talk about that, too, later. Because one article I came across, I love it, and it gave a nice little thinker. Not a stinker, a thinker. All right, so just go to Reaver.one and click on that article, and you'll have a list. A nice list of the advertisers. Let them know what you think. And maybe if I can come up with a good email of what you want, of what to say to these advertisers, I'll post it up there so you can just copy and paste and let them know what you think. I'm trying to rush through because I got a long video I want to play for you guys, which will be audio for you guys. Well, you know what I mean. But first I want to go to, this has nothing to do with politics. How would you like to be a fisherman? You're out on your 15-foot boat. You're fishing. You're 73 years old. You're having a good old time. And you're in Australian waters. Hey, Matty. All of a sudden you see a fin pop up. Dun, dun. And it starts swimming towards you. And it comes towards you. Getting closer. Coming faster. You're like, oh, look at that. That's a beautiful great white. Oh, look at that. Oh. Wait a minute. It's coming faster. It's picking up steam. It's getting closer. And then, all of a sudden, it jumps out of the water. Its pectoral fin hits you in the head. And it lands on top of you. You have a 9-foot great white shark viciously flopping in your boat on top of you. What do you do? Well, this man had it happen in Australia. Great white came charging at him. Jumped. His pectoral fin hit him in the head. And the great white, a 9-foot great white shark, landed on top of him. He quickly got out underneath of him very quickly and jumped to the gunwale of the boat while this 9-foot great white shark started flopping in his boat. It went flip-flop and freaking out. So he was able to get a hold of the radio. He called for the Australian Coast Guard for help. They came out and helped him. The article doesn't say what happened from there. But at that point, I'd be like, on your way out, can you bring me a pair of shorts and some toilet paper? Because I seem to have soiled myself when a 9-foot great white shark jumped on top of me. Oh, my God. That gives a whole new meaning to, where is it? Oh, come on. And this is the new version.
Who is it? Plumber? I didn't ask for a plumber. Who is it?
Telegram.
Oh, telegram. Just a moment.
Land shark. All right, I didn't cue it up to where I thought it would be queued up.
Me, this woman was killed by falling out of a tree. What is it?
For those that don't know, look up land shark.
Cleverest species of them all. Oh, my God.
John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, SNL, back in the 70s, season 1.
Yes.
Mrs. Arlsberg.
Who?
Mrs. Baldwin.
Who is it?
Flowers.
Flowers for whom?
Plumber, ma'am.
I don't need a plumber. You're that clever shark, aren't you?
Candygram.
Candygram.
Candygram my foot. You get out of here before I call the police. You're the shark and you know it.
Wait, I'm only a dolphin, ma'am.
A dolphin? Well, okay.
Land shark. Back when SNL was funny.
Oh, my God. What is it? Egg salad again.
All right, last one.
Who is it?
Land shark.
Oh, Walter. Land shark.
Oh, man. Like I said, back when SNL was funny. So, I also said I'm going to have a long video, which I'm going to play in a moment, and I love it. It is a governor who takes the media to task. I mean, he just absolutely takes them to task. No mercy. It's beautiful. See some. Oh, it's a Governor Matt Bevan. Where is he? Governor of Kentucky. And then there's some kind of issue going on, and it's not so much the issue as what he has to say to the press. I'm going to play this in its entirety, and I am not going to interfere with it.
I was just asked a question by a reporter about an ethics complaint violation. Apparently, there's a group that has filed an ethics complaint against my administration, against me, against someone in this administration. I don't know. We're not allowed to see it, but magically, people like the intrepid Mr. Loftus over here has already seen it. What's interesting as well is that it apparently is being brought, all we do know, by the very people who are funded by our Attorney General, using money that he received from Tim Longmire in contributions. Tim Longmire, who, as a reminder, since it wasn't covered much, is actually now in federal prison. He was the chosen number 2 person by our Attorney General, chosen by him, selected by him to be his number 2 law enforcement person for the state of Kentucky. Number 2 guy. He'd previously run personnel for another governor who preceded me. It was a family thing, apparently. They liked this fellow. while he was delivering packages full of cash to the McDonald's parking lot in Versailles or wherever it was, he was being trusted as the number 2 law enforcement guy by our current Attorney General. When some of you were astute enough to ask him if it seemed appropriate for him to be taking money from a guy that's now in federal prison in order to get elected, he decided, you know what I think I should do? I should give it to somebody that will be responsible with it. So what he said he's going to do is give it to this community watch group, or what's their name? I don't even know. Common Cause. He's going to give the money to Common Cause. Apparently Common Cause is filing an ethics complaint. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to imagine it. No politics there. None at all. And interestingly, Tom's seen it, but we haven't seen it. We're not allowed to see it. But maybe being a good reporter and wanting to report, he'll report on what it says, and then we'll know too. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here's the thing. It is a piece of real estate. Real estate is part of what we're talking about here. I'm happy to tell you. Let me say something right now. This house in Anchorage that you all are so fascinated with, somebody wanted to know, are you living there? I mean, I guess that was Sherlock Holmes that had asked me that question. Obviously, I live there. That's why the state security is there. It's why I drive in and out of there each night. It's why my children play there, live there, and sleep there. Of course I live there. The idea that something nefarious was done, and here's another thing I'll say, as long as you want me to talk, I'll talk to you. Here's the problem. You are destroying good people in this process. I appreciate, take shots at me. It's all fair game, even when it's an inside hack job like this where people give information to some people and not to us, and we have to wait and find out what it is. But here's the thing to understand. You're destroying good people in their reputation. Neil Ramsey, who sold this property, will see what the valuation of this. You all have reportedly, breathlessly, reported on the value of this home. Have any of you ever even been to this home? You've flown your drones around the house. I appreciate that. You've flown your helicopters over the house. I appreciate that. But are any of you real estate experts? Have you talked to people that are? Do you truly have a clue what you're talking about? These things will ultimately be adjudicated in the process of valuation. The valuations that you're talking about that are associated with it were supposedly sold at a lower price. It was sold at a price that includes a fraction of the land, none of the road frontage, tremendous restrictions and easements that are allow movement through that property to the back of the property, as well as blocking off the front of that property from the road. This is a 150-something-year-old house. It is arguably not even worth what was paid for it, let alone what it's being assessed at. Coincidentally, the very same PVA who is very desirous of getting involved in this, because probably he's got an election coming up. This is, again, another political bunch of mumbo-jumbo, and it's a distraction. Do we really think relative to $5.8 billion in economic development, the creation of thousands and thousands of jobs, the idea that I live somewhere other than here or wherever is really that important? I appreciate you're interested in it. Let's let the facts come out. Instead of all the breathless hypotheses and the drones and the helicopters, let's just get some facts. Wait till we know what it's actually worth, and then you can make whatever assumption you want. There is a process to that. There's a valuation and an appeals process, and people who actually, unlike so many that are talking about it, know what they're talking about, that will determine the actual value of that property. But to disparage and take a guy like Neil Ramsey, for example, to the cleaners, and to be lambasting him, and noting that apparently he and I also are invested in another company where there are, incidentally, in Kentucky alone, dozens and dozens, somewhere between 50 and 100 people own that company. And apparently he and I are among those 50 to 100 people. And then you all breathlessly report how he's getting sweetheart deals for tax breaks that he's getting, where he apparently, an investment that he made in that company allows him to get a tax credit. And you've breathlessly reported on that. How many of you have written one story? You know who else got tax credits doing the exact same thing last year? Greg Fisher. Greg Fisher, the mayor of Louisville. I pick him just because he's also in politics. And you might have heard of him. I wouldn't have known it based on your lack of coverage of it. You all could look this up. This isn't rocket science. You know who else got it. You act like he invented, you like Neil Ramsey invented this tax credit. It's something the state has done for years. Many people, hundreds of them, have taken advantage of this. It's not illegal. It's an incentive to get them to invest in small companies. And like he did, I invested in that company 10 years ago. He apparently invested in it last year. I've been invested in it for 10 years. I own a small piece of it. I'm a minority shareholder. There's 60 some odd owners of this company, I believe. But you all go after someone and destroy. This is a guy who is doing nothing but serving the people of Kentucky. And then you talk about, I see you all talking about pay to play. He got rewarded with a seat on the Kentucky Retirement System Board. Really? You think that's a lottery pick? Does any of you want to sit on the worst funded pension system in the state that has been ignored for year after year after year after year? It's nonsense. You all are so breathlessly misinformed about things, trying to vilify people, make scapegoats of people, in a complete abdication of responsibility. You will be shocked. You take a look at the list of people who received that tax credit, and you will be amazed how many of your friends and people who share the same political ideology of you, the very same ideology as all of you, which happens, and it's not a shocker, in most instances to be a little different than my own. But I will say this, you'll be amazed how many of your friends are getting the same sweetheart deals. Write those stories. Write a story about them. Write a story about certain people in the other party, including political people. You want to talk about, I mean, even as long as we're talking, you talk about my house. Taxes, just for the record, are owed on property taxes in the state of Kentucky on April 15th. After April 15th, they're late. You can pay them early and get a discount. You can pay them within a zone and pay a certain amount. You can pay them after the zone and pay an amount plus some interest. Or they're straight up late, and then liens start being filed after April 15th. 2-3 months before they were late, you all, some of you, WDRB, thank you, excellent, great reporting, breathless reporting, blocking the street in my neighborhood, literally getting calls from neighbors, where you come and breathlessly report breaking news, hadn't paid my taxes yet. Very same day, the city, the mayor of that city, Greg Fisher, owed twice as much as I did. At the same time, also hadn't paid his. Also not illegal. Also not late. Also had chosen just to pay in the third zone, not the first or second. Never wrote that story. Didn't block off his street. Didn't send a news reporter out there. Didn't make his neighbors drive around to get into their own driveways. This is the kind of nonsense you think that, and you wonder why I don't take you seriously. It is so remarkably one-sided, and you vilify innocent people. You can take the shots. It's okay. This is part of what you expect when you run for office. But don't go after people that are serving the public. Don't go after people who are literally getting nothing, but based on your false assumptions, rumors, and allegations, are getting kicked in the teeth, and you all just pile on and try to outdo one another on that front. The bottom line is this. How do you expect to get men and women with any competence at all to actually serve on boards like the Kentucky Retirement System, to serve in the state legislature, to make the kind of decisions that people have to make day in and day out on your behalf? If you do nothing but try to destroy them, vilify them, smear and slander them based on absolute falsehoods and a lack of ability to do a little homework and realize their falsehoods just in case you really believed them to be true, you're not going to get the best and brightest, which means you're going to get the less than best and brightest, which means you're going to continue to kick cans down the road, which means you're going to continue to get people who are not competent to lead, who are going to be in leadership positions, and we're all going to bear the brunt of it, and we'll have more regulation and more red tape and higher taxes and worse funded pension systems because, frankly, you punish the people who are capable of doing something about it. You ask anybody that is on that KRS board who the most influential people have been about actually making hard decisions and saving the pension system that, frankly, many of you are part of and all your friends are a part of. The people that are making the decisions to actually fix the pension system are the very same people that you're trying to destroy. So why don't you take a look? If one of you intrepid reporters wants to, Tom, you love to write a good investigative tale. The wives, my wife's doll, that one's been covered enough. The house, certainly gotten a lot of coverage. Taxes on properties that I've owned, been a lot of coverage here. If you want to break some new ground, you want to cover something that hasn't been covered, why doesn't one of you pull a list of everybody who got a tax credit last year under this angel investment program? I don't even know the name of it. There were many of them who did. Pull that list, scrub that list for names you know. You will be shocked. Write an actual not one-sided, but two-sided story about the people, and also draw people's attention to the fact they're not getting one over on the state. This is done so that we will encourage people who have the means to do so to invest in startup companies, to invest in small companies, so that those little companies can start with 3 people and suddenly have hundreds or thousands of people. That's the point. It's capped. It's limited. But it's amazing how many people who think like you do are the first ones in line to get that. Apparently, others are as well. I don't know that I've ever even been able to get a part of that. I don't know if it's a fairly new program. I think we've done it for several years. 3 years? This is the third year we've done it. Take a look at that. Run a true story. Inform the public. You all complain too often that I won't stand here and do this, even though, ironically, the Herald Leader, that fine bastion of, objective thinking that it is, wrote an article this week or sometime recently about how I won't do this and talk to you. But the picture that they showed with the article about me not talking to people is me standing in front of a camera, some news reporters that were writing, and it was taken by one of their reporters, who also I took questions from, and this was just a few weeks ago. But then they used the picture he took at the conference where he asked questions and had them answered to write a story about how I don't talk to them. The reality is it is hard for me to take people seriously, and I'm sure it's none of you that are actually here at this moment, with some exceptions. But the bottom line is, it's hard for me to take you seriously when you are so remarkably lopsided in your coverage. When you breathlessly do breaking news stories and block off the street in front of my house, when people who you happen to agree with, apparently, politically, are doing things that are multiples, the exact same thing, but that's all right, because apparently they're the right people. Nonsense. Same thing when it's talking about people who are getting these special breaks. Be actual reporters. I know you're offended at the idea that a non-reporter would tell you how to be reporters. But the point of reporting is not to be opinion columnists. That has been lost, especially in a lot of our written media in recent months and years. And you now have people that are writing in the news column things that are, no matter how you slice it, Zippy the monkey could look at that and say that's an opinion piece. A third grader could look at that and say that's an opinion piece. But they don't even care. There's nobody who even has enough integrity in some of these publications to care whether it's an opinion piece or a news piece. I'm asking you, if you want to be respected, you want to resuscitate the Fourth Estate, you want to reinfuse a sense of confidence in people and respect from the people who read the things that you write and view the things that you put out there, then actually report the news. Don't put your spin on it. Trust the intelligence of your viewers and your readers. You can give your opinion, but if you do, publish it as an opinion. Don't write it as fact, and don't get offended and outraged when I go around you and talk directly to people. Because the reality is I'm going to keep doing it because people deserve the truth. And if you won't give it to them, I will. And if you don't like what I'm saying, then come at it from your approach. But be objective and give them the entire story. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Like I said, I love it. He takes the media to task, calls them out. And this is exactly what's going on. And it's getting tiresome. They're not news agencies anymore, and that's what the First Amendment covers for freedom of the press. News, not opinion pieces. And that's what a majority of the reporting is anymore. They have their own political spin put on it. Just as I do. That's why I'm on talk radio. Do I do some breaking news here and there? Yes. But it's talk radio. I'm giving my opinion, as I say multiple times. I'm giving an opinion of an everyday person. I try to talk to you as everyone would talk to each other. I try not to do the, I'm going to impress you with all these big words and talk down to you. But I'm an opinion. These are my opinions. Are they backed by facts? Yes. Am I always right? Of course. My wife says different, but I think I'm always right. Hopefully that gets a couple laughs out of it. HB Pundit has an old picture, looks like from the 50s, a vending machine, a speedy weenie machine. It was a vending machine for hot dogs. Whew. Don't know if I'm going to trust that. It's... Real quick one before We might just trug along a little bit longer. Tiger Woods was arrested for DUI, and he's blaming it on medicine, of course. When don't they blame it on medicine? It is... Okay, I gotta play this because this one's something like Nancy Pelosi's pissed off because Trump didn't visit the Middle East nations in alphabetical order. Let's see if this article is true or a little clickbait. All right, let's see what we got here. Nancy Pelosi.
Sure. Thank you, Leader Pelosi. I'm just wondering for your impressions of President Trump's trip so far, his first foreign trip, and if you think it's been a successful trip and some of the messages he's been trying to deliver.
Do I think it's a successful trip? Here's the thing. I was in like 5 countries, whatever, during the break. And during that time, if anybody said anything to me, not the heads of state, because they understand that respectful of our head of state, and so we don't engage in any conversations of that kind with them. But any members of civil society or any people that we had met with outside of the officialdom of those countries, and they would bring up President Trump and their criticism. I said, you know what? That's not why we're here. We don't criticize our president when we go abroad. We may have our disagreements, which we fully air in our own country, but we don't go overseas and criticize our president. So if that's what you came to this meeting to do, that's not what we are here to do. Same thing, while he's there, we'll have some things to say about his visit. I have said I thought it was unusual for the President of the United States to go to Saudi Arabia first. Saudi Arabia. It wasn't even alphabetical. I mean, Saudi Arabia. Now, notice the previous 5 presidents, President Reagan, President George Herbert Walker Bush, President Clinton, President George W. Bush, and President Obama, 4 of them went to Canada first, and 1 of them went to Mexico. George W. Bush went to Mexico first. In our hemisphere, it didn't have to be in our hemisphere, but our friends and neighbors. What was the decision-making process to go to Saudi Arabia first? That's a question that I have. And what policy flows from that? If there are further questions, I'll have when the President returns. No. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just going to leave that on its own. I'm just going to leave that for itself. This is funny also because Maxine Water is all her talk of impeachment is now boomeranging on her, as this article puts it, and well put, because now they want her constituents, and they're pushing for, they want her impeached. And and in this video, the constituent compares Trump's words to Bill Clinton's action. Water snapped, "I don't care about the Clintons. I'm going to work every day until I get him impeached." And the constituent said, "I'm going to work every day to make sure that he isn't impeached, that you are impeached." And her response is, "You can't impeach a member of Congress." That was her big... Oh my God. There's billboards being posted all around her district. 2 scoops of ice cream is not fair, impeach Trump, Maxine Waters quote. There's a billboard, impeach Maxine Water, race baiter, old and out of touch, poverty pimp, end this abusive marriage by divorcing yourself from the Democrat Party, give Maxine a piece of your mind. Gave a date for one of her speeches. Important issues facing us in 2017, according to Maxine Waters. Plan A, impeach Trump. Plan B, blame Whitey. Plan A, blame Whitey for everything. Blame Whitey for everything. Add funding for Planned Parenthood. Increase illegal aliens for more votes. Blame Whitey for everything. And these are popping up all over. Let's play this clip because it seems like some comedy could be in here.
I just saw the opportunity. Right, what?
Well, it's not off to a good start.
Oops.
How are you? Good morning. It's always good.
A little slow start, but one of the things she brings up,
Miss Waters.
I know some people wouldn't like you doing it. Okay. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm fine. I've been calling your office and leaving emails, and
you're one.
Maybe you could talk. Give me 5 minutes of your time. I know today is not the time.
You're one of 700,000.
I understand that. I understand that. Yes.
And so when I'm in Washington most of the time. You know that. I fly in on Monday and I fly back on Thursday or Friday, but that's every week. So I have one day sometimes, and we try to figure out how to see everybody that we can. So tell me what you want to talk about.
Well, I just want to talk about your representation in Washington regarding our president as well.
I can't stand him.
I understand.
He's the most horrible man I've ever seen in my life.
I love my president very much.
I'm glad you do.
I respect your position, my position as well.
I'm glad you do.
But I also want to know why you weren't representing me in Washington by opposing the president.
Your president is a dishonorable, lying man. He mocked a journalist. I've never seen a grown man do that. He talked about grabbing women by the private parts. He lies every day. He's in bed with Putin and the Russians about oil. And everybody around him are allies with the Kremlin and with the oligarchs of Russia. They're going to take us down.
You mentioned comments about him being a liar.
He is a liar.
And grabbing a woman's pussy,
That's
which
right.
I don't think he ever did.
He said it.
I go back to...
What grown man talks like that?
I go back to President Clinton.
I don't care about Clinton.
Well, of course
I
you
care
don't.
about this.
Of course
Listen,
you don't.
I'm going to work every day until I get him impeached.
I'm going to work every day to make sure that he isn't and that you're impeached.
But that's okay.
Thank you so much,
Excuse
Ms.
me,
Waters.
you
Thank you so
can't
much.
impeach a
Thank
member
you
of
so much.
Congress. No,
Thank you so much.
you cannot
for
impeach a
not
woman of
representing
Congress.
me in office. Thank you so
That's
much.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cuts her off. I love that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be, putting up the wrong soundbite. Shells, I'm ready. We'll be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I try. Especially when we're talking about Pelosi. Well, there is no common sense with her. She's saying that Ramadan is a holy month for peace amongst Muslims. Yeah, that's why they go on killing sprees. Yeah, okay. Nancy. New study claims that climate change causes people to lose sleep. Yeah, about that. All right, let's see. Trying to see if there's anything good that's popped up. Doesn't look like anything major, I should say, has popped up. Check one last thing. Chelsea Clinton, we all have a responsibility to not stay silent now. Yeah, in other words, you're just trying to cause as much uprising. Now, if conservatives did that, had Hillary won, oh my God, we'd be chastised for it. How dare we? Two articles that I saw. And it talks about how un-American Captain America has been of late. And the Marvel seems to be abandoning its fan base. And I think you're going to see that the next couple of movies may start going downhill because people are getting tired of funding these jackasses. As much as I like the Marvel movies, I'm not going to pay money to go see them. You know, I don't need these jackasses lecturing me. And then, you know, going to pay them. It's not like we have a difference in political. They're lecturing us and insulting us. It's not, I'm not banning the movies, just I'm not going to spend my hard money on it. And I think a lot of conservatives are getting tired and they're not going to the movies because of this this constant barrage by liberals where they feel they have to tell us what to think every minute of the day. They are telling us how we have to live, how we have to think. And I'm tired of it. And a lot of conservatives are. It's to the point, and this writer, and I love this article, and it starts off the attack on Trump is exactly what a Russian disinformation campaign looks like. The way they're attacking Trump and, he's colluding with Russia, and every minute, every day, there's something that's popping up. This is how Russia runs a disinformation campaign. The accusation that President Donald Trump's 2016 campaign colluded with the Russians and that he is trying to cover it up looks increasingly like a classic Russian disinformation campaign. One designed to bring down the only president since the Cold War who has actually been willing to confront Russia in any meaningful way. It is an article of faith on the left that Russia wanted Trump to win the election because Vladimir Putin anticipated a more pliant approach, signaled by Trump's explicit desire to negotiate a better relationship. But the Russians may just as well have preferred Hillary Clinton, who had given Russia everything it wanted while serving as President Barack Obama's Secretary of State, from the ill-fated reset to a surrender of U.S. missile defense in Eastern Europe, to the sale of 20% of America's uranium reserve to a Russian company closely tied to the Russian state. I'm going to take that one step further, to Hillary Clinton going to Vladimir Putin's home on multiple occasions. It is more plausible to suggest that the Russians simply wanted to disrupt American politics, if it can get away with doing so. and would do the same regardless of which candidate won the election. Even if, for argument's sake, Putin once preferred Trump, that would not preclude him from trying to undermine President Trump now, if possible. And in the Democratic media complex, Putin has found a particular potent weapon aimed directly at the president. One could not imagine a better way to create havoc for an adversary, and the left is playing into the enemy's hand, eagerly and mindlessly forgetting its own slavish enthusiasm for Russia for nearly a century. Holman Jenkins, writing in the Washington Street Journal on Saturday, notes that Putin found a unique vulnerability in the hyper-partisan of contemporary American politics, which makes devotees on either side more willing to believe the worst about the other. Partisans on both sides might share a conspiratory mindset, which relegated to opposition status, but only the Democrats can harness the alchemy of the mainstream media to normalize fringe theories. Regardless, the flimliness of the evidence against Trump is a clue. Jenkins notes that it was a dubious dossier that alleged that Russia had dirt on Trump that caused much of the initial speculation last summer, and that it may well have been fed by Russian sources for that purpose. Added to that the recent revelation that FBI Director James Comey suspected that a key email, purportedly hacked by Russians, and which implicated Attorney General Loretta Lynch in a scheme to suppress any FBI investigation into Clinton, was a fake, and a pattern seems to emerge. Moreover, many of the recent intelligence leaks that have attempted to tie Trump to Putin have been thinly sourced at best, and in some cases, laughably so. The information that has been leaked could well have been fabricated or at least fed to unwitting U.S. intelligence sources who were ready to believe and convey the worst. Senator Lindsey Graham, an early critic of Trump's Russia policy, said as much on Sunday when he speculated that an intercepted message from the Russian ambassador to his bosses back home, claiming that Jared Kushner wanted to set up a back channel, could well have been a setup exposed on purpose to be intercepted by the U.S. Regardless, Trump is almost certainly right that the Russians are laughing at us. The entire political and media establishment is utterly consumed by obsession with Russia influence for which there is no actual evidence. It is a hysteria worse than that of the McCarthy years, because in those days there really were American communists trying to take over the U.S. government on Moscow's behalf. Thanks to the Democrat media complex, this may be the most powerful Russian disinformation campaign ever, and stands on the verge of bringing American Republic to its knees. Journalists and elected Democrats are busy slapping each other on the back for standing up for democracy, to the extent that they believe it when they are doing the opposite. Russia is surely grateful. That sounds more plausible than the crap that's out in the media. I've never doubted Russia hasn't tried to disrupt our elections. They've been trying to do it for 75 years. Now, all of a sudden, the Democrats want to make a fuss out of it. Looks like Russia is continuing its fight against us and using Democrats as puppets. And the Democrats are dumb enough to go running in and being those puppets. It's amazing. Misinformation being fed to Democrats, and they think it's useful for political purposes, when in actuality, it's separating and destroying our country, damaging our country. And the Democrats are leading the way gleefully Because if they can't lead, they would rather burn it down. And that's exactly what they're doing. I think I got the article up for later, if we can get to it. But it's being said by Democrats, and nobody in their districts are asking about Russia. Very few times you get these paid groups that come in to cause problems, but the constituents are not asking about Russia. They're talking health care and jobs. And it's Democrats that are stepping up and admitting nobody's asking about Russia. The only one that talks Russia seems to be Maxine Waters, Democrat politicians, and the mainstream media. CNN and MSNBC, if it wasn't for that, they would have dead air. They're trying to keep alive a outright lie to keep ratings. American people are getting tired of it. American people do not believe it's they just want to burn it down instead of trying to work. Now there's a Democrat that has stepped up and he wants to work on fixing Obamacare. Great. We can work together. Fix. But for 8 years, maybe not 8, but since the passing of Obamacare, they've known there's major problems with it, and the Democrats have done nothing to try to fix their mistake. And every time the Republicans try to do something, the Democrats go crying. You know it's a failure. You know it's failing. Step up and do something. It's absolutely it's amazing. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It really doesn't seem like it's going to get any better anytime soon. But there's some good news, some news coming out. It seems that they have found 3 of the anti-Trump leakers in the White House. And it's 2 separate news organizations are reporting it. And North Korea's at it again, of course, and just they called me on eye for a second. Trump's out there, and Russia's laughing at us, and collusion probes Democrat cover for the 2016 loss, and that's part of it too. They don't want to talk and explain why they lost. So they run their mouth on that. But we'll see. At least 2 separate news organizations, as I said, are reporting that 3 distinct leakers have been identified at the White House and that President Trump is expected to fire them when he returns. Now, this comes right before this was announced over the weekend. And now we have the White House Communication Director, Mike. Shit, what the hell's this guy's name? Oh, crapola. Man, can't people have just nice, normal names? Let me get the other wife. All right, give me a second. Those guys.
Dubkey.
It's Mike Dubkey. He was the White House communications director. He has now resigned for personal reasons. I bet you if we took a look, he's one of the leakers. We took a look inside of it and found out the truth. He's one of the leakers, and he's given these people a chance to resign and walk away before getting fired and start charging people. It's getting crazy. They're leaking out information that's putting this country at danger. And what's funny, some of it that they're complaining that Trump says he's leaking, CNN already talked about a month before. It's ridiculous. It wasn't Trump who exposed that it was Israel who gave the information. That honor goes to New York Times that exposed that information. It's unbelievable. Of course, it goes on. CBS News has confirmed from two sources that 3 leakers of classified information at the White House have been identified or expected to be fired. Officials within Trump's White House believe leaks of Mr. Trump's conversation with Russian foreign minister are a deliberate attempt by officials who are holdovers from President Obama's administration or trying to damage the Trump presidency. In addition, this week, Chief One American News Network White House correspondent also reported that the White House leakers have been identified and referred to the proper authorities. The chief for One American News Network wrote on Twitter that the 3 leakers have been carelessly leaking classified information to hurt President Trump politically, and that Trump is expected to fire multiple people connected with the network of leakers upon his return to the White House. From the actual tweet, scoop: 3 White House staffers have been identified for leaking classified information. POTUS will fire multiple people when he returns to D.C. CBS News confirms the story I broke earlier this week. And multiple White House aides have declined to comment. They had to know they were going to get caught sooner or later. And some of this information that they're leaking was going to land into the authorities' hands. So it's not surprising. Let me see something. No. Oh, boy. It's checking out something for the next article. The balls of these people. All right, let me get everything back up. All right. The AP's Erica Warner. Lawmakers, including Dems, say they don't hear about Russia at town halls. On Friday's edition of PBS Washington Week, Associate Press congressional correspondent Erica Warner said that several lawmakers of both parties told her that they do not hear about this issue in town halls from their voters when they go home. They don't hear about Russia. Russia. Warner stated, I've heard from several lawmakers on both parties that they do not hear about this issue in town halls from their voter when they go back home. They don't hear about Russia. They hear about health care. They hear about jobs. So they aren't getting pressure from constituents, even Democrats, on this issue. After the discussion turned to obstruction of justice charges that are being leveled against Trump administration, Warner said Republicans are privately concerned about what's going on clearly. I mean, on many levels. We have a president that's a 40% approval rating, sometimes less in some polls. Where does that come from? It's partly because of the Russia stuff. It plays, it manifests in very different ways. When you have a media that keeps beating on the drum, of course, some people are going to worry. But these are also the same journalists, the same polls that said Hillary was going to win. So I don't take a lot of solace or trust in these polls. I don't. Sorry. Not taking it. John McCain says Putin a bigger threat than Islamic State, but admits no evidence Russia changed election outcome. Seems to be a common thread here. No evidence. Nothing. But yet you still hear these idiots talking Russia. Russia. Longtime Trump opponent Senator John McCain said in an interview aired Monday that Russian President Vladimir Putin represents more of a threat to the world than Islamic State. Although he conceded that he has seen no evidence Russia changed the outcome of 26 election. Is Russia out there beheading American journalists? Is Russia out there actively blowing people up? Listen, I don't trust Putin. I know he's not a good man. I know he has some evil thoughts of conquering the world. But he is nowhere on the level of ISIS. Nowhere. I can't. It amazes me. It amazes me that these people still out there beating that drum. Russia. McCain made the remarks during an interview with an Australian Broadcasting Corporation's 7:30 program where he was asked how much of a threat he believes Vladimir Putin to be to global security. And his quote, I think he is the premier, most important threat, more so than ISIS. I think ISIS can do terrible things, and I worry a lot what is happening with the Muslim faith. And I worry about the whole lot of things about it. But it's the Russians who try to destroy the very fundamental of democracy, and that is to change the outcome of an American election, he said. So wait a minute. Russia is worse than ISIS because they tried to change the outcome of an American election, but there's no proof. There's no proof at all that they did that. And quote, McCain, I've seen no evidence they succeeded, but they tried, and they are still trying to change the elections. They just tried to affect the outcome of the French election. So did we, McCain. So did we. So it's funny. Obama was over there running his mouth during the election, but that's okay. Obama was pumping funds during the Israel election, but that's okay. Obama was running his mouth over in Britain during the Brit X vote.
trying to sway people. But that's okay. That's not trying to change the outcomes by sticking their nose in it. It's okay when Obama does it. But when anybody else does it, it's the worst offense in the world. I never understand that. I don't understand that. Of course, we have Maxine Waters, Sunday on MSNBC's AM Joy, said the public was getting wearied that Democrats have not done enough to begin the process of impeaching President Donald Trump. But yet, Democrats admit nobody's talking. Except the paid protesters. And let's see if I have audio for this. I know, I'm so bad I'm not prepared. I didn't know if I was going to play it or not. Sometimes you feel like a night, sometimes you don't. Come on. All right, here we go. I think it's there. Yeah, I really hate that sometimes. Sits there and it says that it has it video, and then when you click on it, nothing pops up. Come on. See, is this it?
While you said you didn't see any smoking gun on collusion, how close to the line is that in your mind?
Well, it certainly arouses your concern about what's going on. Given, Russia, at least for my money, is our primary adversary. They are not our friends.
I still laugh when
to do us in. Mm-hmm.
Romney said it, and it was
kind of a time.
Obama said 1980s called, and they want their policy back.
Administration at a time. And oncoming administrations don't get a head start.
Welcome back to AM Joy. Now that Donald Trump has landed back stateside after his 9-country world tour, he's experiencing quite a bit of political turbulence. This week, the Russia investigation got its second wind, or third, or fourth. Honestly, it's easy to lose count at this point. When news broke that Jared Kushner had asked Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak about creating a secret channel of communication between the Trump transition team and Russia, with Kushner officially a person of interest in the investigation and the White House setting up a war room to combat the endless Russiagate news, what happens next? Well, joining me now to discuss this mind-boggling week in Washington is Congresswoman Maxine Waters. And Congresswoman, good morning, first of all. Or
morning.
Hello, I should say. Hello. And this morning on Meet the Press, John Kelly, who is the Director of Homeland Security, was asked to respond to what people are calling a back channel. I don't know that it's a real back channel, but that Kushner did this with the Russians. Let you listen to what he had to say.
All right.
Our own intelligence community had collectively said this was a country that had infiltrated our election. Did this show good judgment?
Well, it's before the government was in place.
Time that you have been in government, in the federal government, and seen the transition of power from one party to the other in the White House, have you ever heard of a back channel such as the one that we're hearing that Jared Kushner?
Yeah, I've heard of it multiple times.
Absolutely
Ted Kennedy,
not. And
outright
as it
lie.
was just said, President Obama was still the president of the United States.
And President
Jared
Obama
Kushner
was having meetings in Moscow before he was elected, having back channels conversation. He was talking with Hamas.
And so for him to talk about setting up this back channel and using the Russian facilities to do it, for me,
and again, just an accusation.
Most people never heard of that, and it seems
no proof.
Unseemly that he would be involved in that kind of relationship with the Russians, given everything else that we know about these relationships between Trump and his allies and Russia. So much attention, so much involvement, so many connections with the Kremlin and with Putin. And all of this certainly demands investigation and better understanding.
Has gone to Putin's house? Hillary. Who gave the reset button? Hillary.
And, and I was,
what was that statement? I'll have more leeway for Russia after I get reelected?
Sort of the normal
Obama.
When an administration is changing over. By December, by the time that Jared Kushner was having these meetings with Kislyak and also with a Russian bank.
All right, I can't listen to this anymore. I was looking for a certain soundbite. The rest of this is just a bunch of propaganda. It sounds more like Russian propaganda than anything as they try to overturn a Democratic elected official. That's all this is. They're trying to overturn an election they lost, and they're putting out a disinformation campaign. Sounds exactly what Russia has done in the past. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying confidence, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its host, the Jersey Boy hosts, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
Welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of senseless. Jim just came across Supreme Court is going to hear a case from Ohio where Ohio purged its voter roll from voters who haven't voted in several years, so they got purged from the last 7 years. But of course, it's eliminating minorities because it's a Republican-held state, so they're going to make a fuss. Well, I got a question for all you fucking Democrats that are crying about this. Why aren't you bitching about New Jersey, who has had that same law that if you don't vote after several years, you get purged from the voter rolls? New Jersey is a fucking Democrat liberal cesspool. I don't hear you saying word one about New Jersey. They do the exact same thing. It clears the voter rolls for those who don't vote. To register vote, it's not hard. This is where liberals think people are too stupid, and they always mention the minorities. Well, the minorities need all this help to vote. Do you think that they're that incompetent that they can't figure out how to vote? They can't figure out how to register? You're always crying and demeaning the minorities. It's mind-boggling. It's cherry-picking facts to fit their narrative to push lies. Drives me up a wall. And then they're always, the minorities, it's going to hurt the minorities. Are you saying they're that stupid that they can't figure it out? Because I believe they're smart enough that they can do it on their own. That they don't need to be treated so badly. It's absolutely disgusting. It's mind-boggling. Disgusting. Oh. I got to move on because that one's pissed me off. That one has me speechless. Of course, Hillary Clinton was out there lashing out again. Again. It's amazing. Sexism. Oh, the press made me lose. Sexism made me lose. Oh, you know what? You were sexist when you were running. Vote for me. Vote for the first woman. Vote for the first woman. You wanted me to vote based on sexual orientation. That is sexist. Because Trump was out there saying, vote for me because I'm a man. You'd be the first one saying he's sexist. Well, you were sexist, Hillary Clinton, for going, vote for me. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I don't vote for what sexual orientation you are. I don't care what dangles or what doesn't dangle between your legs. I vote based on who I think is better for the job. It wasn't sexism. It wasn't the press. It wasn't Russia. It wasn't Comey. You were a shit candidate. You were running on nothing. You were running on, Trump's a bad person. Trump's a bad person. I'm going to raise his tax on middle class. I'm going to ban guns. Open borders. Oh, my husband's NAFTA is a great thing, and that's the economy I'm going to run on. Oh, Obama, I did this with Obama. You had no original thought. You hid from the media for months. You weren't campaigning. Russia didn't keep you out of Wisconsin. And now you're trying to blame, sexism on Wisconsin laws? You never showed up. You took them for granted. You ignored them outright. You ignored Pennsylvania. You ignored Michigan. You lost the election. Nobody else. Hillary Clinton lost the election. But, of course, a Democrat can't admit the truth. They got to hide and point fingers at everybody. It's their fault. Comey made me Russia. Oh, aided and abetted by suppression of the vote, particularly in Wisconsin. I would have won had it not been subjected to the unprecedented attacks by the former FBI director James Comey and the Russians, aided and abetted by the suppression of the vote, particularly in Wisconsin. Oh my God, get over yourself. Oh my God. You've got to cry about everything, don't you? Your loss, you failed, shows how weak of a person you are, Hillary. This shows your true being, how dishonest, irresponsible, deceitful person you really are. You can't go out there and say, you know what? My fault. I did several mistakes I took for granted. Done. Zip it. No, she's... it was Trump. Oh, and the best. The Democrat Party pushing that alcohol solves your problems. How'd she get over her loss? Chardonnay helped. So let's push alcoholism on our kids and tell them that drinking solves problems. Nice job, Hillary. Yeah, just sit there and push that alcoholism is the way to cure your problems. Got a problem? Go drink it off. That was amazing. I'm not born again on drinking. I still drink occasionally. Drinking does not solve shit. Drinking can cause more problems. But I can't believe she's going out there. Chardonnay helped me get over my loss. Yeah, great going. Push alcoholism as an excuse. Comey cost me my election. Voter suppression. What, next you're going to blame the sun for your election loss? Or the rotation of the earth, gravity? Sure you don't want to do... Oh, let me guess. Global warming caused you to lose your election. I'm waiting for that one. Global warming caused me to lose my election. The rising temperature and the polar bears are drowning caused me to lose my election. Oh, my God. Shut the... Trump had lost and he was running his mouth like this. I'd be saying the exact same thing. Shut your mouth. Oh, my God. Drives me up a wall. Absolutely up a wall. God, I want to bang my head. I don't know. Is this what we come to? Democrat Party is not out for the United States. They're out for how much obstructing can they do? How bad can they screw up our political situation? Because they lost. How much more should we take of this abuse from the Democrat Party? Instead of looking inwards and saying, this is what we did wrong, this is how we're going to correct it. No, let's just obstruct. We're not going to let Trump do anything. We're going to block, and we're going to cry and whine, and then we're going to blame Russia. I still think maybe Hillary's going through the the 7 stages of grief. You know? When do we get to shut the hell up? Oh. God, it's annoying. I can't believe they actually paid her to come out and whine at a college. Now, I'm sure there's some Democrats. Did you see that she came out, she did that commencement speech? Did any Republicans walk down on her? No, because Republicans give everybody freedom of speech. They allowed her, not allowed, but they didn't obstruct, protest, walk out. They let her speak. But when Mike Pence did it, oh my God, we got to get up and leave. What a bunch of whiny ass bitches. All right, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying confidence, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I am trying to make sense out of the senseless, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Intelligence agencies violated the constitutional rights of American citizens through illegal surveillance during the Obama administration. Recently declassified documents from the FISA court shows. The secretive court also notes a change for the better under President Trump's team. The FISA authorizes two courts to provide judicial review for U.S. intelligence agencies when their activities requires them to monitor people on U.S. soil. One is FICSC, and the other is the court that hears appeal from FISC decisions. The United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Courts of Review. The benches of Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court are comprised of federal judges from regular federal trial courts throughout the nation, and of 3 appellate judges from around the nation comprise the bench of FISA. The Office of Director of National Intelligence recently declassified an April 26, 2017 ruling from FISA detailing violations of Fourth Amendment rights during the final year of Obama administration. The problem dealt specifically with Section 702 of FISA. This provision of federal law found at 50 United States Code 1881A contains minimization procedures for U.S. citizens whose information is scooped up by the intelligence community while those agencies are conducting FISA surveillance. These safeguards minimizes the burden on civil rights caused by the intrusion of the federal government into citizen lives. The Fourth Amendment commands the right of the people to be secured in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures should not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or thing to be seized. Writing the 99-page opinion for FISA, Judge Rosemary Coyer hang on. Hold on. I'm having a brain fart. Total brain fart. Where do we go? Yeah, castigated the Obama administration for failing to follow the Section 702 procedure designed to ensure that the government does not violate American civil rights as it is performing work that is vitally important to national security. Collier declared that the previous administration's cavalier violation of Section 702 requirements created a very serious Fourth Amendment issue. Collier sharply criticized the NSA's Inspector General and the NSA's Office of Compliance for Operations for their institutional lack of candor, signaling that in addition to ignoring legal constraints, the Obama administration was not being honest with the courts about its violation of federal law. Under President Trump, the NSA decided on March 30th that it would stop certain collection activities that FISA was then reviewing. Collier noted that this changed for the better, in her opinion, and added that the court granted approval of the amended certification and accompanying targeting and minimization procedures. The court also criticized the FBI, faulting the domestic agency with distributing raw FISA information to a wide array of individuals associated with the Bureau, including private contractors who did not need access to the information. Collier noted that this unwanted practice also ceased under Trump's administration, with the FBI curtailing its dissemination of raw intelligence on April 18th. Now, if we, the public, broke any of these rules like that, we would be in jail. But we have politicians doing whatever the fuck they want with no repercussions. So much for open and transparent government that Obama promised. And there's people stupid enough that still believe in that statement. It's on Memorial Day, we're supposed to celebrate our veterans, our military personnel. But instead, our media thought it would be good, the leftist media outlet, to attack Marines on Memorial Day over, quote-unquote, toxic masculinity. The left-wing news outlet Vox attacked Marines on Memorial Day, claiming in an article that Marine Corps has a toxic masculinity problem The article, which was simply titled, "The Marine Corps Has a Toxic Masculinity Problem," continued to claim that Marine Corps often marginalize and mistreat female troops. Citing the Marine United nude photo sharing scandal, Vox staff writer and defense correspondent Alex Ward attempted to link the Marines with symptomatic sexism and listed ways how the Marine Corps could get rid of their toxic masculinity. And to be fair, it's not just the Marines. Sexual assault has increased in other service and evil, even in the military academies, concluded Ward in the article. I know I'm getting stuttery and stammering and stupid all of a sudden. So as the service tries to win battles around the world, the most important fight may be the one closest to home, he continues, the battle for the soul of the Marine Corps. He had to do this on Memorial Day. He had to do this when we're celebrating. One reporter responded on Twitter, Vox has a beta male staff writer problem. One pointed out that he never served. One Twitter writer, I'm an ex-Army woman. This article is hysterically bullshit, commented one user. While another added, yeah, you know, the toxic masculinity saving lives, just terrible. It just seems everywhere you look, the left is taking shots and trying to tear down America. If anyone is colluding with Russia, it more and more looks like the left is colluding. Doing everything they can to tear us down. Whether for globalism or colluding with Russia, I don't care. They're not trying to do anything to promote America. They're trying to tear it down. Democrat Party has taken a sharp turn and is destructive. Seems to be doing everything it can to try to destroy the United States. There's not many in the party that seem to be willing to stand up. And it's scary as hell. They got to attack. And of all days to do it. And then we had CNN had to run an episode of the United States of America to exploring Muslim and Arab communities and pushing Islam as part of America's founding. Yeah, as we fought a quote-unquote terroristic Muslim of the time. This push that Islam was a part of America, the only part it was us fighting on the shores of Tripoli and so forth. That is the history of Islam in America. As we fought Islam, as they attacked us, that's the history of American Islam. But hey, we can ignore that part of history, can't we? It's amazing. Amazing. Oh God, we're there already. It's just getting ready to start another, and it's that time. Remember, you've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. I will be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.